I can hear you, just barely hear you. I can just barely hear you.
Early one day, I got up the strength to call you on the phone. President calls your name in the nighttime. I flipped that guy the bird. How fast is the speed of light? I don't know, did it say in the book? I can't do time, therefore you didn't do the crime. You didn't do the crime.
Welcome to This Might Be a Podcast, the song-by-song podcast about the greatest band of all time. Not Titus Andronicus, but they're pretty good. We're going to talk about... My name is Greg Simpson, of course, and I am here with... this is the second part of a crossover episode with the Giants Confirmed podcast. Dudes,
Hey.
Matt Rivero and Trevor Dick Rash. Ikrat. Wait.
You should have told him.
That was the crowd booing for me, not me booing for him.
Yeah, boo. I'll sample and I'll find some sample of a crowd booing me. And we're going to talk about Sensurround off of nothing. Well, I guess it's off of a couple things. Here we go.
When I was only a zygote, I still remember the time when there was nothing to know or to think about except the sound of my mind and the sound from outside. Sense around down at the bottom, sensible to sternum, and the wild first spoke to me in sense around. If mom had known she was expecting, she might have gone to see Jaws instead of picking the film where the sound effects came right up through the floor. And I'd be differently formed, sense around down at the bottom, sensible to sternum, and the wild first spoke to me. Sense around.
Off the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 1995 soundtrack, off of the Japanese edition of Factory Showroom, off the SEXXY EP.
Hey, whose podcast is this? Motherfucker. This is a curse-filled podcast, especially since this one was made for a kids movie. So let's curse more. So, yeah, I guess. Okay, so you guys, do you think the episode of Giants Confirmed about Factory Showroom with me as the guest, is it gonna air first, or I guess we could do the same day? What do you think?
Whenever Trevor finishes editing it, I guess.
Yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on me, but we could probably do the same day.
Trevor guy, he's a Trevor guy. He's an editing guy. He's gonna do that thing. Okay, well, okay, so this can go up whenever, but I was thinking, I guess it's not too relevant to the conversation, but you all can go and hear me guest with these dudes on their podcast, Giants Confirmed, album by album podcast about the greatest band of all time. And we talked about Factory Showroom, which was super awesome because I had just had Brian Doherty on this podcast and was listening to that a lot, so it was perfect. And we talked about the whole album, and we went over 2 hours.
Yeah, you
did.
played singing saw for us. It was a really great time.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna play another instrument for you today.
Oh, yeah.
So get ready for that.
The slightly less verbose They Might Be Giants podcast.
Yeah, I made that episode very verbose. I just can't shut up. If you
had to bring the energy.
If you're like, here's this topic you really like, talk about it for 10 minutes. I'm like, how about 10 hours? Yeah. So, I mean, I'm so used to talking in front of pretty much anybody. I mean, I've been a teacher for 15 years. I've been in bands on stage for 24 years. So I don't know. And I've been doing podcasts for 8 years. So,
nice.
Yeah. So I'm a shrinking violet, like Lauren said. Hi, Lauren. So let's Well, I don't know. I guess if there are people that haven't listened to Giants Confirmed, how about when you guys tell these folks what it's all about and why you started it, etc.?
Yeah, Matt, tell the people at home.
Basically, Trevor wasn't that familiar with They Might Be Giants and came to me with the concept of him, someone who hasn't really listened to the band before, and me, someone who, like, it's been my favorite band for, I don't know, 15 odd years at this point.
Your whole life?
It's not even my whole life. Like, I came into They Might Be Giants relatively late. I was like 14, 15 at the time.
Well, that's when I got into them, but it was like dial-up internet era, so it wasn't like, hey, YouTube, what am I going to like? Here's They Might Be Giants. Yeah. Oh, wow, cool.
YouTube did exist at the time, but it's not where I got music, because it's not where anyone got music.
God, okay, so you're like 10 years younger than me, probably.
Yeah.
I hate you. Trevor, how old are you?
I'm 29.
I hate both of you. I'm going to be 39 in August, and... yeah, so when I got into them between Apollo and John Henry, it was because my friend, and actually my friend's older brother, I was just talking to him because he went to the first of their 2 Chicago shows. He went to, Friday night. Friday? Yeah. Friday night, and, well, whenever this airs, that won't make sense, but the March one. And so he missed 40 minutes of the set because They Might Be Giants tend to lie on their tickets. Or whoever they get their tickets printed out through, it'll say like doors at 8, but then they start at 8. So for those of us that are seasoned showgoers and don't wait outside the door for hours, we just waltz in and we're like, oh, hey, they're still sound checking. Wait a minute, I just missed half the set. Fucking balls. This is what happened on the I Like Fun tour. Me and my wife were like making a big thing of it. Like it was like our... anniversary gift to each other to go see them in Indianapolis, and we go to like this really fancy place for dinner that's like around the corner. Indy's not that big, everything's around the corner from each other, so we go to this place. We're like just like, oh, we got plenty of buffer, we're walking over, we got plenty of time. We're like taking a picture in front of the marquee, and we hear Anna Ing, and we're like, wait, is there an opening band covering They Might Be Giants? That's a pretty bold move. Wait a second, that's them. Are they sound checking? No, we missed 4 songs. Fucking
God.
Christ. God, the tickets, and it's the same thing that Patrick said yesterday. Patrick was on the Anna Ing episode and the I Palindrome I episode. And yeah, it was the same thing. The ticket said doors at 8. It didn't say a showtime, just said doors at 8. So it was the exact same thing for us. We show up at 8:20. We'd missed 4 songs. He showed up at 8:40. He missed more than half of Flood.
For
Christ's sake, guys.
When I go to shows in Toronto, I'm so used to doors at 8, meaning show starts at 10 because we want to make alcohol purchases. We want to make alcohol sales.
Exactly. This is how things work. But They Might Be Giants. I mean, these guys, they basically invented their own little ecosystem where they're like, we're going to put out our own records on our own label. We're going to tour whatever the fuck way we want. So, like, they're established enough.
What's an opener?
Dedicated enough. Right. They're like, it's an evening with They Might Be Giants. Well, then start it after you say doors. I mean, doors does not mean you're playing. Doors means we open the doors so the band can go take a breather after sound check, and then they play.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I don't know. That's kind of honestly my ideal concert. I walk in, the band
is for me too.
The band
but
starts
I
playing
need to
immediately
know.
as I sit down, and then it's over in 45 minutes, and I get to go home and go to bed.
Oh, man.
You sit
down
at shows.
Love a
Man,
seated show.
I'm the old one. Same, but like at Indy, we ended up even coming in late. Like, thanks to it being Indianapolis, I don't think it even sold out. I don't remember. But this balcony like circles around like beautiful. A U shape all the way around. We got to the front of the balcony and we're like, I mean, I'm basically like looking down on the top of Linnell. It was the best view.
One thing I've always really liked about They Might Be Giant shows is if you want to get towards the front, you can kind of just worm through the crowd. There's no one like stonewalling you, preventing you from going forward ever.
No sweaty, shirtless skinhead guy.
Yeah, it's a show notably devoid of skinheads.
Man, I went to the weirdest show I ever went to. Not weirdest show, but the weirdest crowd at a show I ever went to was It was the Aquabats opening for the Vandals, which to me at 17 made total sense. I loved ska, I loved punk, and it was just like two silly bands. One was a ska band and one was a punk band. But the people that showed up for the Vandals were like so serious about it. They're like, this is a great punk band. I'm like, they're pretty good. I mean, but they're just hilarious. And they were like booing the Aquabats. And I'm like, God, shut the fuck up, you assholes. What are you doing? And then they're like, I don't know if the Aquabats were actually booed off the stage, but they did their set, just ignored all those people. And then the Vandals came on and they were like moshing and shit. I'm like, what? Like all the dork kids like me were afraid to skank because all these other guys were there. Like being all serious, like the Vandals are some sort of, like they're fucking Dead Kennedys or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on. I mean, Dead Kennedys get silly, but they're obviously a very hardcore influenced and snotty band.
Yeah.
The Vandals are just, I mean, Hitler bad, Vandals good. That's such a good album. Live Fast Diarrhea. I mean, come on.
How can you take that seriously?
Same venue in Chicago. I had my mohawk up and, these guys came in and threatened me, like, you're not a real punk. I'm like, I'm wearing a Screeching Weasel shirt. What do you want? We're in Chicago. I mean, this is before Ben Weasel was found out to be a total prick. And they're like, we should hold you down and shave your head. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why is this a thing? I'm glad it's not like that anymore. And They Might Be Giants concerts are a bunch of nice, nerdy people of all ages, and it's like, I mean, it's like the best crowd you could ever hope
it's always
for a
really
show.
great.
Yeah. I mean, unless you were a young punk kid who, like, their duo era stuff is very punk to me because Flansburgh's guitar playing.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I don't know if you guys have heard the John Henry demos.
Yeah.
Oh, God, so good. The guitar is so much hotter in the mix. I'm like, God damn. I'm like, Dan Miller is great, but Flansburgh, man, his style is so great. Like, he's never been a shredder, so he would make up for it with all this weird stuff. And I can imagine being like a high schooler and going to see them and being like, play Dig My Grave, I want a mosh. It's a total punk song. Play Stomp Box, play it again. So we're not here to talk about John Henry. We're here to talk about a song that was a B-side off of Factory Showroom, and it was also on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I never saw that movie. Did you guys see that movie?
Was it the Ooze one?
It is the
I
Ooze
saw the
one.
Ooze one. I've seen
Secret
the Ooze
of the
one.
Ooze?
Yeah.
I only know
I enjoy
this.
some good Ooze.
I found an upload of the entire movie on YouTube yesterday because copyright trolls just don't care about movies that came out in 1995, I guess. Because I wanted to thumb through the entire movie and find where they played Sensurround.
I was curious.
It was played at 43 minutes and 51 seconds into the movie.
Oh.
And it's played out of a car stereo as it pulls into a driveway. 8 seconds. That is the entire use of it.
8 seconds. Is it like the chorus or like
It
the
is
intro?
the chorus,
What
yeah.
part is it? Yeah. Sensurround, turn off the car.
Yeah, that was it. It was literally like a minivan pulling into a suburban driveway.
I guess that's why they felt they had to put it on a couple of other releases because
Yeah.
it was underappreciated in the movie. But the soundtrack, man, the artwork is fantastic if you look on the wiki. But it's got Go-Go Power Rangers. The artist is Power Rangers Orchestra. But then it's got Red Hot Chili Peppers, Devo, which, I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers in this year was more respectable. Devo, Van Halen, TMBG, obviously. Like, this is a pretty decent soundtrack.
And the one thing that I found really fascinating about the soundtrack is that it wasn't just like cobbled together songs, but like the person who mastered it, like mastered like the whole thing together. And like, I guess some of them there were some re-recorded versions for this as well. There's Neil Dorfsman, it says on the wiki.
Dorf.
And so he's done.
I think a guy with that last name should be wielding the sword that's hanging behind you.
I think so.
Dorfsman.
Engineer and producer, best known for his work with Dire Straits, Bruce Hornsby, Mark Knopfler, Paul McCartney, and Sting. He did a bunch with Sting. There was a lot of Sting on his resume.
Holy shit.
And he did the fucking soundtrack to this Power Rangers movie.
That's amazing.
Like he did all the producing and engineering for the whole album.
Wow. I mean, I guess it must have paid well. I mean, it's a pretty
I'd
big
hope
budget
so.
movie, I think. Yeah, shit.
I mean, Power Rangers was huge at the time.
Go Power Rangers.
What was your guys' like experience with Power Rangers? Were you into that when you were younger?
I
Never
I imagine
watched
you were
it.
probably a little too old for it at the time.
Definitely. I remember like hearing that like I could sing most of that theme song. I thought it was a pretty cool theme song. But
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
yeah, it's just like this power pop jam. Yeah, but I don't remember ever watching the show. I remember flipping through and being like, what is
I was
this?
like
Yeah.
5 or in like within like the 5 to 8 range, I think, when Power Rangers was at its most popular. And I was
Yeah.
initially really reluctant to watch it because I was like a super anxious kid and it just seemed very scary to me.
Yeah.
Like just like, creatures and monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
It all
Right.
looked a little too real when like I was used to like cartoons. But then
yeah,
I
they're
finally
like guts,
and I-
like they're weird, craggly torsos and shit.
yeah, it just wasn't. I wasn't into it. But then I finally saw it on like TV while I was over a friend's house or something, and I remember realizing how like stupid it looked and like just how low the production
Yeah.
values were, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then I got super into Power Rangers. But before that happened, my most like prominent memory still that I associate with it was being at like a birthday party in some kind of public museum / kids play area space. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I was at a birthday party there. And there was like a real ass Power Ranger who showed up to like meet and greet with the kids. And I was so terrified that I literally passed out and fainted.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Man. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I was always terrified of the characters at Disney World because they're like 9 feet tall. I'm like,
I get that.
They have huge unmoving faces. What's
I
not
think
to
what really
fear?
bothered me
horrible.
though, I think that what really bothered me though was like the profound realization that like, oh, if this Power Ranger is real, everything else in that show is real, and thus like all those horrible monsters are
That is
actually
how
out there
kid brains
somewhere.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it must have just been too much for me and I shut down.
My experience with Power Rangers is very much like any like average like 4 to 7 year olds experience with serial media, in which like you're not following the plot at all. You're just kind of staring glassy eyed at the TV.
right.
And I did watch a lot of
Yeah.
Power Rangers, but fuck if I remember any of it.
Yeah, I don't know. They were like, hey, we're kids. And now, oh, bad guys coming. Let's change into our unitards.
They were cool teens.
They were teens with
Right.
attitude.
They were teens with attitude. And I mean, like, like just thumbing through the movie yesterday and just like as an adult, I really appreciate like the kaiju and Sentai like aesthetic of like shitty practical effects. And Power Rangers is full of that stuff, especially like when they're big and it's like very clearly just a guy in a suit fighting around some prop buildings. The movie wasn't like that. The movie had really bad CGI when they were fighting around the buildings, but the television
Right.
show mostly did it like old kaiju style.
Well, the television
like
show
that.
was actually two different things kind of cobbled
Yes.
together, right?
It was
Which I didn't learn until far, like well into adulthood.
Japanese
I had no
show
idea.
called Super Sentai, and then all the stuff of them out of the costumes was filmed in America, which is wild that that's a thing that managed to happen.
I think they pull it off pretty. I mean, like maybe they don't pull it off as well as I remember because I haven't gone back and watched an episode of Power Rangers since I was that young. But I remember it being pretty seamless.
No, I think it works pretty well as long as you have like a reasonable suspension of disbelief.
Being 5 probably helped.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the different versions then. So let's see. Technically, the soundtrack version came out first,
Yeah.
and then the next year on the SEXXY EP for Factory Showroom related stuff that came out. So yeah, so I guess, at the top of the show, I probably put in a clip of that version, but let's talk about the differences because they are very slight. Like if you only listen to like 10 seconds, you're like, click, how's this one sound? Okay. Click, how's this one sound? Okay, they're exactly the same.
When I was listening to them this
But
morning, I had
the
them
bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had them on repeat. So I was listening to one, then the other, then one, then the other, then one, then the other.
Nice.
You really notice the faster tempo of the Factory Showroom version, which is like it's a very slight difference in tempo, but when you're listening to them back to back, it's very noticeable.
Huh.
I also
Okay,
picked that up
where
while
were
doing
you
back to back in preparation for the show. Yeah.
Where were you listening to them, though? Are we sure there's no tape speed issues, just inching one a little faster? Because that's a thing I've come
It's
across.
possible. I also just was using the wiki as reference, and it does say that the soundtrack version is at a slightly slower tempo. So I trusted that.
Yeah, here in the wiki, it's only saying soundtrack version, bridge has spacey ba-ba-ba vocals. And then the SEXXY version, bridge has funky electric piano.
Yeah, it's on the trivia info on the soundtrack version page.
Okay. Good catch.
Not on the chronology tab.
Good catch. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to play the two bridges back to back, and let's talk about that. Okay. Mighty Morphin version. Were you listening to the YouTube one that the person is beyond the grid by any chance?
Not originally. I've had an MP3 of it for years.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think was just I think it was just ripped from the podcast.
Yeah.
The soundtrack
well,
version
I just worry
was on
about
the podcast once.
Right. I just worry about the people that put up YouTube videos and they're like, it's this, but then it's something else.
Idiots.
Oh yeah, while looking at it, the
Fools.
The EP version was indeed mislabeled as the soundtrack version on YouTube.
Yeah, it caused quite a bit of initial confusion between me and Matt while he was trying to show me the two different versions.
When I was trying to send him the files.
Yeah, I'm actually listening to. You know what? Can you just to make sure I'm listening to the right one? Can you drop it and or email it to me real quick?
Yeah.
The actual soundtrack version, because I'm positive this one that has the Mighty Morphin as the visual is actually not the soundtrack one, because it sounds exactly the same.
Can you just skip to the bridge and find out?
Yeah, no, it's the funky electric piano.
Oh.
It's not the ba ba ba.
Well, yeah,
there are no ba ba ba.
Then it's wrong.
So I've been listening to the wrong version. So
here, I sent you the soundtrack one.
Send me that shit.
I specifically labeled the MP3s because I copied them out of my music folder into a dedicated folder for this episode, so that I didn't have to go find the songs. And then I labeled one of them EP and one of them soundtrack. It's helpful.
The wiki's rarely wrong. The only thing I find constantly wrong is people putting up the guitar tabs and saying it's in a certain key. Okay. I don't know how many episodes of my podcast you guys have listened to, but I'm finding more and more They Might Be Giant songs that are written in non-traditional modes, like all these like medieval modes that like no one writes songs in anymore.
Oh my god!
Like Someone Keeps Moving My Chair.
Oh, that song's all over the place.
Well, that song is in F Phrygian. Do you even know what that is?
There's something very medieval about Someone Keeps Moving My Chair, I would say. That was a problem they used to have a lot back then.
Yeah, on the wiki, it said F major, and I'm like, if it's an F major, then why is every other chord in E flat, which is not in F major, the key of F major? So like Daryl's there, and he had his accordion, and I had my piano was right here, and I would just start plunking out the, and like, yeah, that's not F major. Let's figure out what it is. So
as you do the podcast, it's a long-term effort to make the wiki correct.
Yeah, I found other stuff.
Do an edit after every episode.
Well, with my No Cops episode that Cornmo was on, I'm like, he was on the song. So then I was able to verify that there's no accordion on that song. It's actually a pump organ.
Yeah.
And it said that he played accordion. He's like, no, I just sang. So like I was able to edit and actually, from the source. fix the wiki.
Citation, and then you put your own podcast as the citation.
Right. So getting actually back to it, the bridge on the Mighty Morphin version almost sounds to me like a Good Vibration style, just like cut. They're like, here's a piece of some other song. Let's drop it right in the middle of this one. Because like, especially at the end, there's like a quick, like, there's like a fraction of a second of silence.
And then it goes,
yeah,
and then back into the song. I
So you
actually
mentioned that
really
too,
like
yeah.
this bridge. I think I prefer it over the Factory Showroom.
The sexy version.
SCXXY
There's the
version.
Mighty Morphin version, and then there's the sexy version.
Yeah, the Mighty
and,
Morphin. Let's just call it the sexy version.
Yeah.
The sexy version is actually sexier. Maybe they thought it was too sexy for a kid's movie.
Maybe.
Because like that, like it's very like 70s funk synth.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got
it's
a
like,
kind of
you know-
sound that you imitate when doing bits that like involve faking porno music, like
That I don't know if it's just because I'm familiar with the soundtrack version more, because this MP3's been floating around my hard drive for years.
Yeah.
And I've only recently even heard the other one. So very, very much the reverse
Right.
of your situation.
Okay. All right,
I don't know
yeah.
if it's just because I'm used to the buzz, but I feel like the funky keys take me out of it a lot more.
As someone who didn't hear either of these songs until last night, I prefer the sexy version. I really like those synth
It
sounds
makes more
that they're
sense.
working with. Like they're really nice and kind of
yeah.
starry-eyed and like chill. I really enjoy it. I feel like I don't hear them use those kind of sounds so often. So it's nice on this one.
Yeah. The sexy version actually sounds like it naturally went into that bridge and back out of that bridge. While, like I said, the Mighty Morphin one sounds like, well, let's make one that's more space agey and less funky.
Well, the Mighty
And
Morphin
then
one
there's-
predates the sexy version one, right?
It does, but the way that They Might Be Giants work, Linnell probably wrote this like 8 years before or something, and it's something that even the wiki doesn't know because it's just Linnell's so secretive. And, well, stuff like how I found out that when I did the I Am Not Your Broom episode with Franz Nicolai of the Hold Steady, I was like, wait a second. He did this little, they would do these little videos in the late, for their website in the late 90s. And it's this little grainy video of him singing I Am Not Your Broom. And it's like 5 years before No came out. And I'm like, there's no way they even had thought of doing a kids album by then.
Right.
So like we're talking about it as it like a working class uprising kind of song. We took what ended up on a kids album and talked about it like it was communist uprising or socialist like unionizing song about these brooms that are going to overthrow their oppressors. And it was pretty cool. So like Linnell probably wrote this one like 3 years before. And just like how Flan supposedly wrote Boss of Me the night that he found out they needed a song and sent it in like hours later. That's the like the demo, the actual theme. Because Dan Hickey's like, oh, I don't play on the actual one that's in the opening credits. I'm like, wait a minute. He's like, no, that's the demo. That's the demo. So I go and listen to it. I'm like, oh yeah, that is Drum Machine. So weird. So Linnell probably wrote it a long time before this, and then
Was just
they're
sitting
like,
on it.
yeah, I was just sitting on it. He's like, I don't know what album this fits on. Whatever. Doesn't sound like a John Henry song at all. It's not dark enough. Doesn't like. It kind of sounds like a Factory Showroom song. It sounds like sex. It sounds like SEXXY. Honestly, in the bridge at least. And so I guess that's why they decided to put it there. But I guess the year before, they're probably like, hey, we need money. And we're going to go drop off of Electro. We need money. So then Mighty Morphin thing, they're like, we're looking for songs for the soundtrack. So they're like, hey, let's put this spacey bridge in it, even though it won't actually appear in the movie because there's only 8 seconds of the song. Like, well, that was a waste of time. Because it does sound like Good Vibration style, where they're like, okay, we got this whole song and it's already got this funky bridge, but let's record this little thing and just snip it right into the middle. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trevor? Does it sound like that to you?
I would have just assumed that the the vocal bridge predates the funkier version, just because, like you were saying, it kind of almost sounds like they figured out a more natural transition in between, like the recording of one and the recording of the other.
Okay, so you're
That makes
taking it in the
sense.
opposite. Yeah, you're taking it in the opposite direction. That makes sense too. Yeah, where they're
Like maybe
where
it sounds
they're like,
so like such an abrupt cut because they just didn't really know how to pull it off yet, and when they did, they decided to
Right.
go with the instrumental version instead.
Yeah, I mean so then the SEXXY EP had obviously SEXXY on it. Also had Unforgotten. We've Got a World That Swings, and the Warren Rig microwave mix of SEXXY, which I actually have never listened to. I haven't done that episode yet.
It's 8 minutes long?
Holy balls.
Also, We've Got
Wow.
a World That Swings is ranked 94 out of 910, and that's very high for a song I've never listened to before.
Well, here is how the wiki people operate. The wiki, and I don't mean the wiki editors like John Eulis. I mean people that actually bother to make a account on the wiki so they can vote
And
on
rate
stuff.
something. Yeah,
and
it only
rate
has
something.
59 rankings, so that
Right.
tracks.
And it's all
Sensurround is also
huge dorks.
super high, right? It's like in the top 30.
What is?
It has two separate
yeah.
rankings.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah.
Both
yeah.
of them are in the top 50, though.
Which one's higher?
is wild.
Which one's higher?
The sexy version
Gotcha.
at number 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack version is at number 46.
I gotta say, I've only,
Yeah.
as someone who's only heard this song yesterday, that feels okay. I'm fine with that. This is a real.
It's very good.
right?
It fucking
It
Right?
fucking rips. It's really good. And
Yeah,
like,
you know-
a top 50, They Might Be Giants song for
It
sure.
is very weird that this didn't make like the final regular release of the album. It just
I
seems
know.
like such a missed opportunity. Like they could have easily pushed this out as a lead single instead of SEXXY.
Yeah, that's bizarre
Yeah,
to me.
you know, it is weird. I feel like I don't know, maybe it was like, if you look at the track listing for Factory Showroom, it sounds like almost ahead of its time, ahead of its TMBG timeline. It sounds like a song that would fit on the spine to me.
I could
Yeah.
see it on the spine, but
I can see that.
it feels very Factory Showroom to me. Like it feels like a sister song to Till My Head Falls Off almost. Like it's got the same kind of
Okay.
really quick new wave churn to it.
They could literally
but I
just
feel
put
like-
it where SEXXY is on Factory Showroom. Take SEXXY out of track
Seriously,
one.
get that
and
out of
just
there.
Throw it right in there. Were they just
But maybe-
trying to get dropped by Elektra at the time? Is that the real?
okay.
Is that the real thing?
So,
here?
yeah, people should go and listen to your Giants Confirmed Factory Showroom episode where we trash talk SEXXY a lot. So we probably don't need to fully get into that here, but Sensurround, maybe in place of SEXXY, wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because only the bridge has that funky feel. So you instead would be starting off with two power pop Linnell songs. So maybe you'd want to start with a Flan song. Maybe I don't even know. Put XTC versus Adamant as track one.
No, I still think How Can I Sing Like a Girl would be the best track one. And I would put Sensurround
Oh yeah, I forgot you said that.
as the
Yeah.
side one closer, I think. And then go into like New York City as the side B opener. I think that would work really well. I would probably like ditch
Oh, yeah, I remember you
XTC
saying that.
versus Adamant for this one.
What you're saying is we need to travel back in time, become record executives at Elektra, and redecide this track order.
That's the plan, Matt.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, right. So if you guys, anybody out there, if you join the Patreon, one of our special episodes was with three violinists talking about string arrangements in They Might Be Giant songs. And half of the songs we talked about on that episode were from Factory Showroom.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way they were trying to get dropped from Elektra was by using all of their money. Because the string arrangements, God, like I would never drop XTC versus Adamant, even though I don't think it's the strongest song. The string arrangement alone makes it totally worth keeping. And same with SEXXY. Like, if you put different lyrics to that, I think we talked about this, right?
Yeah, we
If
did.
it had
Discussed it.
different lyrics, Yeah, if SEXXY just had different lyrics, it would be a killer that they would still play at every show and everyone would love because the arrangement is amazing.
What would you rather SEXXY be about? What would you like to see the lyrics be?
Maybe about not being sexy because, it's the Johns.
They took a little more ironic approach to it. I could see that working.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like Flans,
so that it could have the same title, just different lyrics.
Yeah. It would be like not SEXXY. And Flans would be like, it would be about how he had a hard time getting chicks when he was younger because he wore glasses or something like that. I don't even know.
My pants.
Yeah. Then I ripped the back. Yeah. I tuck in my shirts and nobody else does. I'm a fucking nerd. Be like, whoa, they just said fuck for the first time. This song is sexy. Okay, so yeah. Oh yeah, so I'm seeing here in the trivia on the actual. Okay, yeah. We got, this is Yeah, it says this is a faster, more rock-based remake of the original version. According to live show Banter by Flansburgh, before Factory Showroom came out, this re-recorded version was originally intended for the album. So yeah, I do think it should have been on, maybe not in place of, maybe change the lyrics for SEXXY. And then just don't delete anything. Just put it in maybe after Your Own Worst Enemy because that's a slow one. So then this one, boom, would kick it back up.
Pick it right back up again. I mean, the album only had 14 tracks on it. That's not enough tracks for They Might Be Giants album.
Yeah, I
know.
The more
just
I learn
throw
about
Unforgotten on there too.
The more I learn about the process of them putting together the track list for Factory Showroom, the more it frustrates me because I know another one of my favorite They Might Be Giants songs also got cut. What is it? It's that really slow piano one.
Unforgotten's the only other B-side. I'm keeping that entire groan in the episode.
I could give you a long.
I do like the idea
you a longer
of
one if
it
you want a
being
better
one of your
take.
favorites.
Certain people I could name.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. I'm actually working on a cover of it right now. Shh. I won't spoil it by saying the genre that I took it into,
Nice.
but it's coming. It's off to a good start. Hint, kind of sounds like the Aquabats now.
All right.
Yep. Ska versus punk choruses. Yeah, so let's talk about the arrangement some more because we jumped to the bridges because that's what makes the two versions different. But like musically, before we get to the lyrics, let's talk about the arrangement of it. Trevor, what do you like about, I mean, like right off the bat, the way it kicks off, we've been alluding to it about where we'd put it in the track list and such because of the arrangement. But what do you like best about the arrangement, minus the bridges, which we already talked about?
I always really like hearing the Johns do like the nerdy, neurotic power pop thing with like the super beefy guitars and like the sleek production. I think they handle it really well. There's always like a risk for it to delve into kind of like more middle of the road territory, like compared to some of their more like unique songs. But I think this one does a pretty good balance of it where like Till My Head Falls Off, it's like a cool driving power pop song with lyrics that feel appropriate to the band. Like the lyrics almost really remind me of The Statue Got Me High, where it's about being like opened up to the world of art and just being very overwhelmed.
Yeah, no, that was like one of the most common interpretations I saw of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Is like the idea of this being something that shaped the narrator of the song, who is explicitly not the Johns because they were not babies in the mid-70s.
Right.
But yeah, I guess we're not talking about the lyrics just yet. For me,
No, we are
one thing I
not.
really like about the arrangement is the way it almost starts like you're already in the middle of a song. Like the down, 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 down. Like that almost sounds like a bridge of its own.
Yeah, because if you look at the guitar tabs, it starts with a chord progression, that intro with all those held notes you just sang, that chord progression never comes back exactly like that. There's some similar things that come back, but that's like a really weird thing. Not that songs don't have like weird intros sometimes, but just for it to come out like guns blazing, like you said, like it sounds like it could be a bridge, because those chord changes never happen again. So usually the part of a song that would have a chord progression nothing like the rest of the song is the bridge, not the intro. Usually
Right.
the intro is like, here's what the song's going to kind of sound
It
like,
sets you up.
and here we go. You know, it's weird.
And like the last part of that intro is the thing that's basically repeated at the end of every line. That da-na-na-na-na-na-na. And it's very good, like driving rhythm for the whole song. And that's in both versions, just played at slightly different speeds. And I think on the Factory Showroom version, that gets mixed in a more punk way. Like the guitars are a bit crunchier.
Yeah. I feel like the more, it's John Linnell and he does weird stuff that I would never do. And that's why the songs are so good, because I would never think of this shit. It would make more sense to just start with like maybe a couple drum hits, couple flams, be like, when I was only as I go, like, and just get rid of all the, just basically cut right to the and then jump in. But yeah. It's so good. Just like the, well, it's weird. There's no credit tab on the wiki, which is rare. Wait, does it not have it for either version? Let me see.
There's credits on the soundtrack version.
Okay. Whoops.
But it doesn't mark who did the bass or guitar parts. It just marks the engineering and the lead vocal, which are obvious.
Oh, yeah. So
yeah, this one's rarely undercredited.
Yeah, I'm feeling like maybe like what I would guess is that it's just the two Johns that made this. Maybe Dan Hickey jumped on or actually at the time it would have been Doherty. And then Doherty jumped on to play the drums, because it feels like I said, they probably did it super quickly to like try to crank out a song to make money off this or whatever. I mean, they probably like the movie too. Like they identified with that kind of culture. They're like, this would be a good movie to get on. But it sounds like maybe, Linnell, like old school, would actually play the bass guitar, not Danny. Like Linnell was just like, here's the chord progression. I'm going to play the bass. Let's get Brian to play the drums. And then Flansburgh did, all the guitars without Miller or Weinkauf. That's what it feels like to me, because there's no shreddy guitar parts. There's no complicated guitar parts. It's just like, it sounds like Flans just kicking out another Boss of Me. Well, I guess Boss of Me came after, but that kind of thing, that power pop like wheelhouse that he discovered. My hypothesis is that "See the Constellation" was the first song where he was like, "Oh, I could just write a really good rock song."
Yeah, that might be the first one in that like genealogy.
Yeah, that
feels right.
When Adam Gore and Adam in His Package was on that episode, like just mid-episode, I'm like, he doesn't really have any songs like this on the Pink album, that's for goddamn sure. And on Lincoln, he's still writing like Cowtown and stuff like that. I mean, he always has weird songs and always will. But like See the Constellation, it has a Ramones count off. You got Dee Dee Ramone yelling 4 through the entire song.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, just a guy made of dots and lines. And the guitars are just dun 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 dun. And I'm like, man. And then he's like, hey, we could like make a lot of money off of songs like this, unlike songs like Hall of
Chest
Heads.
piece face.
Yeah. When is Toddler Highway gonna get licensed for a Toys R Us commercial? You wish. Okay, so the arrangement rules: power pop, greatness. Both bridges are pretty cool. I can get down with both of them. Let's talk about the lyrics.
I'm talking about the both bridges as in like the two different bridges between them. But then there's the bridge that is common between the two, which is the accidentally in a coal mine line. That part is I think I like how this song has a bunch of like different structures, and I just really like the way he sings those lines. Accidentally in a coal mine, it was found. And I also just love the idea that this like explicitly real technology that they are referencing, which we will get to when we get to the lyrics, was something that they just found under the earth.
Let's transition in. So go ahead and expand on that, man.
Right. So like that bridge is like accidentally in a coal mine. It was found when they accidentally dug too far and found the Sensurround. Sensurround is actually a brand name for a process developed by Sirwin Vega, which was basically putting a bunch of speakers below the seats that emit really low tones that you can kind of hear, but you mostly just feel.
Right, subwoofer.
And that's what ear and sternum is referring to, is like you hear it in your ear, but you also feel it in your sternum. It was made for the 1974 film.
Oh, hello. I like your sword. I'm waving. Yeah. And your hair.
Likes your sword.
And your hair.
And your hair. I have camera on. All right, I can open that back up. Hello.
I'm Billie Eilish. Okay, so this is why I like cameras. You feel like you're getting to know someone better.
Yeah, eventually you'll see my cats in the background. They'll show up.
Yeah, I've been on a lookout.
Yeah, he'll be around. He's probably hiding right now because I'm talking too loud.
I don't know if you guys saw the screenshots of when Bob Nannett was on the Erase episode. He was sitting at his kitchen table and his cat is like literally going behind his shoulders and he's like, like he's talking, he's like, hold on, and he's like throwing the cat off like several times. Like just doing this video call, it just humanizes people. Like when I have these famous guests, like Frances Quinlan from Hopalong, she was like, you want it? Yeah, she was on the She's an Angel episode. You guys clearly need to listen to my podcast.
Yeah, I clearly
more.
need to listen to that one specifically, but also your podcast in general.
Yeah, how dare you? Well, I've listened to all of yours, but that's not a whole lot of episodes. I do need to make a point to listen to some of your guys' other podcasts, which you could plug at the end of this thing. So, what the hell was I even about to say? What the hell was I just talking about before I said your other podcast?
We were about to talk about the lyrics.
Oh, Frances Quinlan, real quick.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh wait, you want to do a video call?" I'm like, "Yeah, if that's okay." I didn't end up taking a screenshot of her because like she turned her camera on and it was like she's the cutest thing, but she's like, I didn't put makeup on. I'm like, you don't need to have makeup on, but we talked via camera phone. But I'm like, I won't post a screenshot if you don't feel comfortable with that, and that was fine because I didn't give her a heads up. I don't know, maybe she hadn't. Maybe she doesn't follow the Twitter or whatever and didn't see that I always post pictures of my guests and such. Just for an audio medium, it's. I think people like seeing, putting a face to the voice. So lyrics. So the Sensurround thing, which specifically designed for the 1974 film Earthquake. That makes sense. Yeah, the process was intended. I'm just on Wikipedia right now. The process was intended for subsequent use and was adopted for 4 more films. Midway, 1976. I have no idea what that is. Football? I don't know. Racing movie. Roller Coaster, 1977. Saga of a Star World, not a Star Wars. And Battlestar Galactica pilot. As well, Mission Galactica, the Cylon attack.
Yeah. One of the things that definitely sunk it as a medium was the trend towards multiplexes because people didn't want the theater vibrating if they were in the next theater.
Right.
And then the other thing that sunk it is that way more people went to see Star Wars than Roller Coaster.
I remember.
And so they're like, why do we need to put all this extra money into this extra stuff when we can just have Star Wars?
I read that a lot of people who went to go see The Godfather 2 in particular were complaining about the Sensurround noises coming from adjacent theaters.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Matt, do they have in Canada? Do they have the 4D experience when it comes to movies?
At some theaters, but I've never really been to one. There's a couple of the Cineplex theaters have the D-box seats, the ones that can kind of move a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I went to a 4D movie,
but I've never been in one because they cost more.
I went to a 4D movie here like 2 years ago when Baby Driver was out. A friend of mine took me to it.
Okay.
And it turned what should have been an otherwise like super enjoyable trip to the cinema to see an Edgar Wright movie into like a nightmare. I did not have a good time with it.
What did it do?
The seats were just always moving around. They blast like really nasty smells at you. And like,
what? Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, Baby Driver probably wasn't a super good example of this because like there were a lot of like screeching tires and burning rubber. So that like wasn't really enjoyable.
Why would you want that? The whole point of the movie is that you're only seeing.
Yeah.
What if there's a movie where someone pukes? They're going to pump puke smell into the...
That's at least an easy one to make. That's just butyric acid. That's
well,
easy.
But they need to know, like, what did the person in the movie eat right before they puked? Smells like bananas.
You can't do just the
bile.
You need to be specific.
Right.
Is it pancake bile?
They had beef stew.
Oh boy.
Which looks like vomit going down and coming up is undiscernible to the naked eye. So let's talk about the rest of the lyrics. When I was only a zygote is just classic Linnell Bizarre opening line.
I just love the idea of them putting like fucking SAT words in their songs in general but like just very specifically this one, which was the soundtrack to a kids movie.
Right. Do you know what zygote means without like having to look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume it's like an early stage of like, when you're first conceived, you're like a little tiny thing.
Yes.
It's basically the second that the two cells join.
Gotcha.
The fertilized ovum. Yeah. A zygote is a eukaryotic cell.
Eukaryotic, yeah.
There you go. I'm no scientician.
Science words.
Yeah. Science is real. Formed by fertilization event between two gametes. Gametes, is that right? The zygote's genome. Yeah, the genome is they might be genomes, is a combination of the DNA in each gamete and contains all of the genetic information necessary to form a new individual. So this is where the miracle of life occurs, and life begins at conception, and blah blah other stupid stuff. Yeah, no, it's a Giants podcast, and I'm happy to lose any conservative idiots who might be listening. So goodbye.
Yeah, every time politics come up in Misty, happy to learn who sucks.
Oh, did you see? Yeah, right. Did you see the one of mine that got deleted by John because it started just a fucking hellscape of?
I might have.
Yeah, well, I bought the shirt that Marty and Danny wore, the really cool retro design. It says, well, it's about Roe v. Wade. It says, what is the phrase that is on it? I've only gotten to wear it a couple times so far. But anyway, it's a Planned Parenthood fundraiser.
Right. Yeah, no, I did see
T-shirt. That one. Yeah, it's super cool looking shirt though. So both Cara and I got one. We're like, we could be twins. It's fine. We're both feminists, and we could be cute little matching feminists. Yeah. And so I posted a picture of me. I was actually at work, and I said, I think the problem was with how I worded it that set people off, because I literally said trolling conservatives. And
when I saw it, the posting was closed, but it wasn't deleted yet.
Yeah, right. So I'm sitting at my piano, and like I teach at these two very rural schools. The one that has more farm kids is actually less Trumpy. I'm not saying they don't vote for them, but they're not like flying the goddamn flags of his and shit. While the other school I teach at is a bigger town, but more like just a poverty-stricken town where people like voting against their best interests and don't know what the word sexism means, as was evidenced by 2 parent phone calls that went to my principal when I said that I pulled the whole 6th grade boys into my room and talked to them about what sexism means, because I found out that they were behaving for me, but none of the women in the building. I'm the only guy in both of my buildings. It's the nature of elementary schools. So I felt I had to have a man-to-man with all of them. And just using the word sexism, I wasn't talking about sex. I was talking about sexism. I think it's like a spinal.
Sex. That's the problem.
I think it's a Spinal Tap moment. People say it's sexist. Well, what's wrong with being sexy? No, sexist. Sexist. That's why I said sexy. I was like, fucking Christ. Like, and I also talked about misogyny. Didn't get any calls about that because they're probably just like, I don't know what that means. Or the boys didn't take it home and couldn't properly say the word for the parents to understand. Mr. Simpson called us sexist. No, I said, you're being sexist. There's an ingrained misogyny in this town where dad rules and mom can be walked all over, and you're bringing it to school, and I am not going to have it. And if I need to be all your dads or be the only good male role model you have, like, you are going to stop taking advantage of the sub during this maternity leave, because she is the nicest woman ever, and you're being jerks, and let her teach and knock it off, and I will be checking in with her at the end of every day.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what's happening right now. Yeah, I'm not going to do whatever I can. I mean, granted, they're only 6th graders, but they're about to go to like junior high, and I'm like, I'm not going to let you guys grow up and be jerks. I mean, like I said to them, I said to them, I'm like, well, here, let's talk in your language. You're never going to get a girlfriend that you like and is actually a good person if you're an idiot towards women. So just think about that. And I'm like, eventually there's going to be a female president. So just think about that. You're not better than the girls or the women that teach you. And so then I get 2 angry phone calls, and I'm like, I'm fine with those angry phone calls. I am not backing down from my the lesson that I was trying to teach these boys.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, that's a whole thing. That's what happened to me last week or 2 weeks ago. This week I'm putting on my They Might Be Giants programs for the first graders at both schools. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, set list includes Boss of Me, Particle Man, Dr. Worm, Triops Has 3 Eyes, Clap Your Hands, what am I forgetting? More kids ones.
Robot Parade adult version.
Robot Parade, not adult version. We're actually doing the one, because on a couple of them I show the music video like behind them so the parents can see it. And we're doing the one where it's like in studio. When No came out, they did all those like in studio videos. Because it has Linnell using like the crazy chaos touchpad thingy. Super cool.
I love that thing.
Oh, it's the best. So then I have the kids like first graders still think doing the robot is cool. So they're like, I'm like, try to match the music with your robot moves. And they're like, it's like power down. They love it. Yeah, they probably like Power Rangers actually. Maybe too scary for first graders. Trevor, is that when you said you saw it? Were you like a first grader?
Probably around that age, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a little scary. It's more for like third graders. But there's a big change in kids between 6 and 8 or 9.
Go through a lot.
So, yeah, let's so the zygote is where we got off topic.
We got one line in.
As I said,
lyrics.
well, it's this goddamn, I mean, you don't have to deal with this, Matt, but like we're getting so close to the election. We're really not that close, but it feels like we're close.
Oh, I very much have to deal with it anyway. Don't worry.
God, I know. Everyone has to deal with our asshole presidents. Oh, God. Even Obama was like, hey, let's start droning people. And I'm like, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Okay, when I was only a zygote, I still remember the time.
So the concept of remembering, Matt, I'm not sure if you know what that is, but that's when you draw upon your past experiences and you kind of just create pictures of them in your mind's eye.
That sounds kind of fake. I can only really perceive the present.
Oh, shit. My baby is sitting up in a crib. She's not crying. She's just like sitting there. Yeah, look at her. She's like, yep, just chilling.
Good.
Okay, so let's see. We've gone 70 minutes.
We've established what zygotes are. We established what remembering is.
Right, but we got live versions. We got covers. There's a chance that if I give her a snack that she can eat by herself, she'll just chill down here, and I'll get some slight chewing sounds on the track. You guys mind if I go grab her?
Yeah, no problem.
Add a great ASMR quality to it.
Oh, totally. Those are the stupidest things. So I think, honestly, though, I think we could finish in 15 minutes if we, like the lyrics, like, once you tell people what Sensurround actually, like what that's referencing.
We got it covered.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, you talked about the coal mine part. So there's a couple other things we could cover. Then I want to do definitely that live video link I sent and maybe one or two of those other ones, just little clips. And I'll have to listen to a little clip to see what they sound. If they sound different. And then there's one cover, and then we can score it. So let me just go grab the baby. If I put a big thing of milk in her hands, she'll just chug that, and we'll get like 10 minutes out of that. All right, hold on.
Hey, everybody, I'm Scott.
And I'm Craig.
Together, we host a podcast called Best Midwestern, part of the Punk News Podcast Network. We have a new episode coming out right now about the great state of Kansas. Learn all about all the fun facts of Kansas you never knew. Like, for example, which porn star is from Kansas that is currently married to Stormy Daniels? There's a fun one. Regardless, it'll be a good episode regardless. Tune in at Best Midwestern on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and follow us online at Best Midwestern.
People are going to love our chemistry. People are used to me talking to all different people from all over the world about They Might Be Giants. But listen to me and Scott. We go way back. This dude spoke at my wedding and then sang Andrew WK. It was awesome.
True.
Listen to Best Midwestern, my other podcast. Scott, I've missed you. Everybody, check out Kansas.
Hello.
Okay.
New guest.
Okay, let's go on the floor. Here you go. Hey, here. Drink that, you goof. There you go. Okay. That's Zinnia.
I feel like the lyrics of the song are pretty straightforward. They're basically just, other than Accidentally in a Coal Mine, it mostly just describes what Sensurround is and the experience of hearing it as a baby in the womb.
Right.
So
right.
like it seems like a very it seems like a very nerdy hyperfixation, which is a very common feature of They Might Be Giant songs, of just like taking a topic and just really, really diving into it.
Well, it's like what Linnell has said. I always refer to this NPR interview he did when State Songs came out in '99, and this was not that long before that, where he said, he's like, I'm just so lazy. Like, really? I'm just so lazy. I hate having to think of things to write a song about. He's like, the lyrics get in the way. Like, I think he would honestly just like la 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 his way through a song and just be like, yep. Here's Leela, do not steal her snack. Get out of here. He'd just like la 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 and be like, here's an awesome melody and an awesome arrangement, guys. And people would be like, where's the words? He's like, fine, I'll do it about like the subwoofer under your movie theater seat.
Yeah. And then just like some like, and then just some like really specific imagery about being inside the womb. If I could swim under the water without having to breathe, if I could follow the trail to the ocean floor, I think I know where there'd be down there waiting for me.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that, you're like, this is a fairly straightforward song. Only because we know so many They Might Be Giant songs. No normal person would think these lyrics are straightforward.
Right,
like,
right. Lyrics from the perspective of a fetus.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you are... So, do either of you guys have kids?
No.
Yeah, so, like, my wife is a professor. She's an academic for life. She reads everything and reads it super quickly. So, like, when she was pregnant... And then during her maternity leave after Zinnia was born, she's just like reading everything, like all these sleep studies. And like Zinnia slept with a sound machine since she was born. And she's like a champion sleeper because of it. She sleeps like 12 hours a night.
Hell yes.
This is without waking up at all. I mean, actually, last night she slept 13 and a half hours. Okay. Lets me sleep in on daylight savings. My wife's like... She's probably going to wake up. It'll be early because of the, the fucking time changes, whatever. But no, she slept till 8.
Champion.
Yeah. And actually 9. She slept till 9 with the time change. Like, seriously, I put her down at 6:30. She sleeps till 8 a.m. So we're super lucky, but like in the womb... Like, obviously, I don't remember when I was in the womb, but in the womb, since it's so muted, like, if you imagine, like, well, if my band were practicing and you were up, like, 2 stories up, which she is, Zinnia sleeps through our practices on Monday nights after she goes to bed, and my other band practices while she naps on Saturday or Sunday, and I think all that she can hear over the white noise is probably the bass guitar frequencies and the kick drum. So she's hearing basically the kick drum is basically like what she was hearing with my wife's heartbeat in the womb. All you're hearing is like, dun, 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 and just like all this filtered through, skin and muscle and, in the womb, all you're hearing is like, and so that's why they say sound machines are key for getting babies to sleep. You do not want to have it be completely silent. We stomp around outside her room while we don't stop talking. We just walk by her room, and we've trained her to sleep in noisy situations, and it's going to be good for us in the long run and our sanity and our sleep.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so this whole Sensurround thing, it's like this, sensible to the ear and sternum. So like it's shaking your chest, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Made the fakeness realistic when the action went ballistic.
It's a great rhyme.
Sadistic. These rhymes, realistic, ballistic, sadistic.
Very good.
In a kid's song. It's like, this is Well, it's less like Dr. Seuss and more like Shel Silverstein, who wrote kids stuff and adult stuff.
Yeah. I feel like the people who made Sensurround wish this song had existed 20 years earlier to advertise the concept of Sensurround.
Yeah, they would have killed for a phrase like makes the fakeness realistic when the action goes ballistic.
Yeah.
And then the idea of hearing it in the womb, I was reading the interpretations page. There's two different interpretations pages. So I'm going to read the one for the soundtrack version because there is only one thing on it.
Okay. Yeah, hit it.
Sensurround is when pregnant women hold speakers, usually playing classical music to their stomach to increase brain growth in babies.
Okay, I love how you're pronouncing all the misspelled words. Let me see this.
How is Babby
my
By
God.
formed?
Nathan. How is Babby formed?
I think that's probably my favorite YouTube video of all time is the Am I Pregnant video where he's reading all of them.
Am I
The
pregnant?
spelling errors. Greg. When my mom was pregnant, she was pregnant.
Yeah,
So-
I guess so.
Right.
And
So
then
then
on
what's the other interpretations? Yeah.
on the other one, someone wrote like a full essay about it.
I saw that too, yeah, with like a
Nice.
whole bibliography and like credits.
Written by Richard C. August. I just want to read part of the bottom of it. If I could swim under the water without having to breathe. This is a direct reference to the trauma of birth. However, it is a known fact, in all caps, that the interior of the womb gives internal sounds. Maternal low-frequency sounds are mostly felt and not heard. The baby also hears low-frequency sounds of digestion, mother's heartbeat, movement of amniotic fluid. Therefore, a mother's womb and the sounds of the deep bass of a Sensurround theater are alike in that they consist mainly of low, deep rumbling. Which is like, this is a cool thing to know. But then later, a paragraph later, he says, frankly, I would like to hear the maternal womb sounds in a Dolby Pro Logic 2 with a good subwoofer. And I think this guy might be like one of those guys who refers to pregnant women as human submarines and is just like really into the concept of pregnancy because he just gets way too into it.
Well, it's like, I mean, what I was just saying, like, obviously I will never know what it's like to be pregnant or remember what it's like to be in the womb. But my wife would read everything, and, I'm going to work and she's home with the baby. Baby naps like every couple hours. So she's just like voraciously reading like data, not like mommy blogs with a bunch of bullshit hippie stuff, but like doctors, people doing studies, like there's like data and stuff. Like she's not a scientist, but like she's smart enough to know not to listen to like, oh, well, my mother's intuition says to do this. Like it's actually like these female doctors who have also had kids, determined this is the best way to get your baby to nap, that's what she was reading. And yeah, he's exactly right with all that stuff. The sounds of digestion. I mean, it is crazy.
He's right, but he seems too into it.
Well, I mean, it is interesting. I'm guessing that his wife, wife, girlfriend had a baby and he read all of that stuff that my wife read. I mean, the baby is essentially underwater. Cue Homer
Pretty
saying,
cool.
"Lo, I'm all naked and wet." Homer clutching to the womb as he's being born.
Yeah.
I say,
No.
I'm all naked and wet. Birth is very weird and very wet. I didn't shy away. I watched the whole thing. It was insane. So the lyrics are amazing. Let's just say that. Like it's John Linnell being like, here's two weird things to write about. One, a dead audio medium for movies, and two, sung from the point of view of a baby in the womb.
And let's put some SAT words in there and a funky guitar riff.
And crazy rhymes. God, that realistic, ballistic, sadistic. It's just like, I spent all morning listening to the Magnetic Fields, and that's like something that Stephen Merritt could have come up with. Like nobody except Linnell or Stephen Merritt could have come up with those rhymes. It's, like unbelievably, like smart, college-educated guy or gal rhymes. It's God, I love both of these bands. Yeah, I don't know. Should we listen to some live versions?
Yeah, let's
listen
do
to
it.
some live versions.
So I sent you the one video we've got live in 1995. The song is only played, well, according to the wiki, people have documented that it's only been played 20 times. So that could be plus or minus a couple, but 20 times. Here we got playing Sensurround, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers version. The person in the YouTube upload said. What is this YouTube name? Wout and a Piano. W out and a Piano.
It was released about a week ago. Yeah! Record that you would never want to find. So we're going to play it for you now.
They weren't lying about the video quality being bad, huh?
I love that shit. I love it because it's like, I mean, you guys are younger than me, but it's like I was just trying to watch a skate video of mine that I still have on VHS from 1989, and I put it in, and the tracking is like going nuts. And eventually my VCR, which is, well, TV VCR combo that every time I have to reset the clock says it's from 2008. It's like, nope, this thing's going to ruin me. Spit it out. So I but then I found it on YouTube. All of us guys having our early midlife crisis are like, we're going to start skateboarding again and hurt ourselves. So what do you guys think of this live version? I mean, the audio is definitely good enough for me to plunk in.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm going to jump to the bridge. Because they say it's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers version.
It sounds very. I've always found that a lot of They Might Be Giant songs, like duo, when they're duo versions, or I guess there is a drummer there. It's just hard to tell in the video.
Yeah, and Danny's back there.
But, yeah, so it's like very comparable to their studio versions.
Yeah, it's a pretty straight performance of it.
Actually, 95. Sorry, that wouldn't have been Danny. 95 would have been Graham, maybe, I think. Probably is the bass player there. I don't know. The video's so bad you can't tell.
It does lend a good effect to it.
Yeah, it's very psychedelic.
The bass line, did you listen carefully to that bass line in the bridge? Like the ba-ba-ba, under the ba-ba-ba's the bass line. Whoever it is, if you're listening with Sensurround, you can feel those bass tones.
I guess this is at Celebrate Brooklyn, because I saw a Celebrate Brooklyn banner behind them.
Yeah, I just caught that too.
Because they do seem to play that every couple of years.
Why did they not play the song at every show? God, so good. So then Peter Gritch came to save the day. So I have, a million Facebook thread messages going where between like me figuring out Patreon episodes with people, like I have a thread going with a bunch of artists. I have a thread going with a bunch of accordionists.
Nice.
Including Cornmo and Franz Nicolai. I have a thread going with a bunch of emo fans to talk about the most emo They Might Be Giant songs, which is like all of them. And then I have this one from the Flood Tour preview episode I put out in January. All these guys that were in NYC, and Abby Bash, who flew to NYC from England. Mike Buffington, mega fan, recreated the Chess Master for himself. The thread is called Flood No Dolph because it's flood no and then flood backwards.
Right.
So it's got Mike Buffington, John Eulis, Peter Gritch, and Abby Bash. So you got like all of the like big people. I'm like, hey, I'm doing Sensurround today. Are there any other live versions? And then 20 minutes later, Peter Gritch sends me 6 live versions. I'm like, I knew this was the right group to ask.
Yep.
Yeah. And John's on the Joko cruise, which they might chance are not playing this year. But I'm like, do you know of any other covers? And no one's like, no. So we got Astro B's cover. But let's listen to 2 short snippets of these ones that Peter sent.
Right.
Which one? I don't care which, but they're both graded A by Peter probably in 1996.
Oh, did you not want to start
one-
with the first one? The 1995 one?
Well,
That
we
was
just
the-
watched
Oh, that was the one we just
1995
watched.
one.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the audio from that same thing, but either way, it's a 95
Yeah.
version. And then we got, so which one of the 1996 ones do you guys want to hear? Cydia, get down here.
I'll go for the early one, the March 31st.
Yeah, Barrymore Theater.
Yeah.
All right. Let's listen to a pinch of that.
Madison, Wisconsin, a lovely, lovely city.
Oh, yeah. Told you, man. We got called Bell and Sebastian there. Let's check it out.
When I was only a child, I still remember the time when there was nothing to know or to think about except the sound of my mind. And those aeronaut signs sent around at the bottom, sensible to hear stew. And the wild first spoke to me in Sensurround. Your mama knows you was expecting. She might have come to see Jaws. Instead of picking the film with the center back, get right up through the floor. And I'll be differently born, sense around at the bottom. Sensible to hear and stew. And the wild first spoke to me in Sensurround. Accidentally in a cold night, it was found. When I accidentally got to find it.
Ooh, he's got like the organ below the guitar lines.
Yeah, it sounds great. Okay, I'm going to skip to the bridge for brevity's sake.
What is the soundtrack version?
Yeah, I think that might work better live.
Because people can do it along with
Yeah, it makes for a good sing-along moment.
Ba, 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 ba. Cool.
I really like how prominent the keys are on this version.
Yeah.
It really goes with like the new waviness of this version of the song.
Definitely.
Right. Well, like we said, there was no credits tab really. I mean, it said John Linnell. Okay. So just like my theory goes, I think, you know, they just came up with this quickly for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and just demoed it as quickly as possible, being mostly the Johns. But maybe Linnell was like, hey, I wrote the chord progression. It doesn't need keys. I'll play bass, flange, do your guitar thing, you know, and then we'll get some drums on it. Because the keyboard presence in the original is very minimal. It's pretty much just the bridge. And then on
Yeah.
the funkier bridge, it's like, that's the keyboard. Like the keyboards are pretty much just bridge. I mean, there might be some buried under the guitars there, you know, get that real power pop, like Elvis Costello radio kind of thing where you got the keys going just right with the guitar.
Well, it's not the
and,
usual
you know.
person who produced that version, right? So he could have just buried them in
True.
the mix. He doesn't know how they do things.
Right? He's like, hey, guys, you're a rock band. Less keyboards. Keyboards are dumb. I don't know. So let's listen to the newest one, and possibly the most recent time they've played it, 16 years ago, 2004.
Yeah, this is almost
January 25th.
This is almost 10 years
Yep.
after that last performance we listened to. So I'll be interested in seeing if they did transition
Yeah.
to the sexy version bridge.
Yeah, okay, so let's listen.
Ooh, this is slower.
It is. Well, they were getting older. Oh, so old.
Is someone singing
Yeah.
on this one?
Yes, the fans are singing.
Yeah, this is definitely somebody in the crowd standing next to the person doing the bootleg.
I love it that someone knows the words.
Still the soundtrack version bridge.
There's that awesome bass part, so that's definitely Danny now. The bass part goes right with the.
Yeah.
So great.
Oh my
Awesome.
god, the person singing in the audience is so out of key.
I love it though because, well, it's like whenever people put, oh, the video quality is terrible. I'm like, this is like really what it feels like to be at a They Might Be Giants show. Anyone can sing. No one's going to shush them. Doesn't matter if they're off key. We're just having a blast. And
The thing is, if they played Sensurround at a show I was at, I would go fucking bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like from now on, I will be that guy.
Yeah.
Zinnia. What is she doing? Hold on. God damn it. Zinnia. What are you doing? Get down here, you stinker. Come here. Oh my god. Don't break my records. Ugh. I'm that weird parent. I have 45s on the wall.
She wants to
Going
pull
my
him down.
Studio. She is, yeah, because I still play them, and they're just hanging on little tack nails, and she's just taking them off. Oh god, and then to try and get her busy on something else, I gave her one of my stomp boxes to press the button.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in this room. I can imagine this is like, the ADD child brain is just going everywhere. Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, there she is, playing with the records. Oh god, she's gonna be such a weird kid. Everyone at school is gonna be like, "What's wrong with you? Why do you already know who the magnetic fields are? Why are you singing Holland 1945 by Neutral Milk Hotel? We don't know what that is." Oh, it's about Anne Frank and her family dying. It's cool.
Sorry, your favorite album is 69 Love Songs?
We don't know what 69 means yet in anything other than that's 69 things. Oh boy. So let's listen to the one cover.
Yeah.
You guys ready? So
Ready.
This is Astral B, who I didn't know his real name for months till John Eulis told me, of course. And then I had him on the Someone Keeps Moving My Chair
Aw.
episode.
For my daughter, no longer only a zygote. That's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. So let's check that out. I'm going to listen just a little bit again, too.
This is a very good arrangement.
Oh, he's amazing.
I mean, I'm always just like genuinely impressed with people who can play the piano at all, let alone people who can like fold 3 different instrument tracks into functionally one thing that
Yeah,
they're doing
I
by
mean-
themselves.
Yeah, I mean, he's self-taught. he claims. While I didn't really learn till college, but like to become a music teacher, you need to pass all these horrific piano tests, like
Naturally.
transposing things on the spot, sight reading, and then transposing a your sight reading piece. It's unbelievably hard. Nearly killed me. But I play a lot more guitar on a day-to-day basis. I play a lot of piano at school, but I cannot play like this.
No.
Like his left hand, especially. I could do his right hand stuff, but his left hand.
Well, yeah, because his right hand's just doing chords, whereas
Well,
his
he's
left
doing-
hand's actually
yeah.
playing the bass lines.
Bass line
Like note
and an
to note.
octave. Right, like and an octave. So, God, my pinky tendons get sore when I do that too long. So good. And he's singing while doing it. Like, this is all just
Yeah.
live. And it's
And he's not
from-
even like reading. He doesn't have like sheet music in front of him at all.
Oh, yeah, no, it's rock band style. I mean, the wiki was around, but, I mean, it might not have had every single chords for every single song, and whatever else. I don't think Ultimate Guitar existed back then, but those other chord sites probably did not have the chords for Sensurround, so he just figured it out by ear, which is the way I like to do it
Yeah.
anyway. But
And he's doing the soundtrack version.
oh, yeah. It's funny. All the sound clips I drop in are going to be like, here's the first 30 seconds, and then it'll like fade and then just come back into the bridge just so I don't have to play the full version every time.
Yeah.
Just to focus on those bridges. Yeah. Very nice, Daryl. You're awesome. He'd probably re-record it for me, but I love that version. I don't care. It sounds good. Sounds of the time, 2008, early YouTubing. I feel like they were just bought by Google around
I
this
like
time.
that his I like that his description of it is another piano arrangement for you to form an opinion over.
Well, this is early YouTube, and people were like, oh no, people are going to hear this and comment on
Like
it.
he doesn't care if you enjoy it as long as you form an opinion over it.
Yeah. Well, I just commented this whips on it, so
That's an opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love all these things. So, I don't know who he's replying to, because replies didn't really work the same on YouTube back then. I think it was just comment. Astral B says, it comes up as second on mine, but he says, all the notes came with my piano when I bought it.
that is a
one
very
is he
good
referring
comment. I really
to?
like that.
What is it? Nice music score. Well, we need one that's 11 years ago. Let's see. You are extremely talented. This is my favorite TMBG song. I'm sure you get this a lot. But do you happen to have sheet music? From one TMBG fan to another. Rock on, Astral B. Maybe that's what he was replying to. All the notes came with my piano when I bought it. Yeah. Oh, God. And one person said, the best part is that your voice is not irritating like most YouTube covers are. Outstanding.
Yeah.
11 years ago. Oh, man.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I really like his singing is not the main focus of the video, and he seems to just be like doing it to enjoy himself. Like he could have easily just made this a plain piano cover with just the piano.
Oh,
But
with no vocals,
Clearly
yeah.
loves the song too much.
Yeah, oh, God. Yeah, when I was talking to him, I just had Hutch Harris of the Thermals on for Mammal, and he does Mammal, of course, Astral B. Hutch did his own guitar version. He did a cover which was awesome that he did a cover for the episode he was on. But we watched Daryl's, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go learn this on piano as soon as we hang up. Thank you for showing your fingers the whole time. Which,
Nice.
It's like people will watch someone playing a song on guitar just to see like, okay, what fret are they starting that solo in or whatever. But like for piano too, it's like, okay, all right, I see how he's playing that. Now I can do it. So super awesome. So we've got one more cover, and it's by me. Are you ready?
Hell yes.
Live on air. I've done this every once in a while when there's a lack of covers, and I think I should do it for this one, even though I did not know this song that well until, I practiced this song halfway through one time. Are you
Nice.
ready? Which is like typical YouTube style.
Do you want us to do like backing harmonies, or should we like what version
Oh.
are you going to do? Are you going to do the Mighty Morphin one or the sexy one? Yeah, we'll do the
Well, let's see. Is this? Hold on. Is this version on the wiki? Is this? Which version is this? Which version is this? Is it the ba-ba-bas? Oh my God, Linnell, what is with these chord progressions? Okay,
Yeah, the soundtrack version is not the one that's on the wiki for guitar bass tab.
yeah. Okay,
the
well,
other
I'm just gonna play what's here. Let me tune. Probably should. I guess. Yeah, I was planning to do this on electric, but having you guys hear it would be harder because my amp is in my isolation room.
Yeah.
And it would be coming through the wrong computer. I don't know, you wouldn't hear it. Here we go, you ready? I'm gonna fuck it up, but that's part of the fun. Alright, let's see. Oops, already fucked up. When I was only a zygote, I still remember the time. I'm still out of tune, whatever. When I was in tune now, when there was nothing to know, think about, except the sound of my mind, except the sound of my mind. Sensurround down at the bottom, sensible to hear in sternum. The world first spoke to me in Sensurround. If my mom had known, she might have gone to see Jaws. Instead of picking a film with sound effects, came right up through the floor. I'd be differently formed. Sensurround down at the bottom, sensible to hear in sternum. And the world first spoke to me in Sensurround. Oh boy, I'm gonna mess up the bridge. Hold on, what's the rhythm on this? Accidentally in a coal mine. I'm messing this up.
It was found.
Yeah, okay, yeah. In a coal mine, it was found. When they accidentally dug too far down and found Sensurround. Yeah, I still don't know who conceived it or where they got the idea. There was in the aisle by the exits, so covered in wood. Shake the room when it should. Woo woo, Sensurround down at the bottom, sensible to hear in sternum. And the world first spoke to me in Sensurround. Is there another chorus? There's a double chorus. And since this instrumental part, super weird Linnell stuff. If I could swim under the water without having to breathe, if I could follow the trail to the ocean floor, then waiting there'd be down there waiting for me. Motherfucker, Sensurround down at the bottom, sense into something, I lost the chords now. And the world first spoke to me in Sensurround. Just gonna end it like that. That was the best cover I've ever done. Out of town, out of tune, and riddled with swears.
You were losing the tune a couple of times there too.
Oh, fuck you. I told you, I only really, I'd heard the song, but I only really absorbed it 2 days ago.
Yeah. I mean, I hope now that you're a Sensurround stan, we can build our army and get them to start playing the song again.
Right. Okay.
Us and the couple of people who've rated it on the wiki.
Yeah.
There are dozens of us.
I think it's time for us to rate it. So let's score this thing. Trevor, how about you first? What are you gonna give this? It's 0 to 10. I won't stand for a 0 though on this song. I won't allow it. But decimals are acceptable. You're ranking it against other TMBG songs, not against like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the Ode to Joy part.
If I'm ranking it against other TMBG songs, I don't know if I feel comfortable going all the way to a 10 because I don't quite enjoy it as much as the They Might Be Giant songs. I do consider a 10, like the real big classics like Anna Ng and Birdhouse in Your Soul and stuff like that. But I'd feel pretty safe ranking this one between like an 8.5 and a 9.5. I think it's a real lost classic. I think it definitely deserves better than simply being issued on the Power Rangers soundtrack and as a B-side to one of their like worst ever singles, if you ask me.
Well, it's a statement. It's a testament to how great they are that they can kick out a song like this that they consider a B-side.
Truly, and it's a testament to how rewarding it is being a They Might Be Giants fan. Even if you think you've heard like all of the like top tier A-level material, there's always going to be like one song like Sensurround that inevitably slips through the cracks and is still there for you to discover like years into your experience being a fan of this band.
Exactly.
Which is super cool.
So I'm not allowing you to do a range, though. You need to pick an exact score.
9.5.
Nice. Matt.
I'm giving it a straight 10. This is in my top 5 for sure.
Whoa,
I
booyah.
really like
Okay.
this one.
What are your other top 5 that are 10s?
They'll Need a Crane.
Okay.
Museum of Idiots.
Oh, nice.
Anna Ang. And what is the fucking name of that song?
Dr.
Kiss Me, Son
Worm.
of God.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, okay. Perfect 10. So my score will not be a 10. I cannot give out 10s
can't throw
like
those
that when I
willy-nilly.
do. Right. And the fact that I've only been obsessing over the song for 2 days, I mean, it made me wish that I'd been listening to it regularly for forever. I wonder if it's on Spotify in either variation. Put it on my best of mix. Here's what I've given 10s. Okay. I gave Dr. Worm a 10. I gave Anna Ng a 9.9. I was just like, didn't want to come out of the gate too early. That probably should have been a 10, but I didn't want to have too many 10s out of the gate. Everything Right is Wrong Again, I gave it 9.9. Let's see. 10s. She's an Angel. We Want to Rock. Birdhouse. Blah, 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 blah. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Sensurround is not on Spotify from a cursory search.
Yeah, it's not streaming in any form.
Neither is Boss of Me. Yeah. Again, it's like we are forced to dig for these songs,
Right.
and that's part of the fun. Is like,
Well, then the other thing is like as an Electra B-side, it like they never released their compilation of Electra B-sides. What did they call the album?
Fuck.
Super Fueled Freaksicle was what it was going to be called.
God. We gotta get that, man.
I do love how many
it's
fan
like-
versions of it exist, though.
I can't believe this didn't even end up on like Long Tall Weekend or anything like that, though.
So weird. Yeah. Right.
This would have fit right in on Severe Tire Damage. too.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick it at the front with Dr. Worm.
Yeah, exactly.
It would. I mean, it's like, well, like obviously, I mean that's like their most legit live album. Like in the modern era, where it's easier to just run off the soundboard or whatever, spit out a live album. They're like, here's a free live album. Like a lot of people bought that, and the proof is that Dr. Worm became like one of their top 3 most popular songs.
Absolutely.
I'm
I'm actually gonna revise my top 5 and put Dr. Worm in there instead of Anna Ang.
Oh my God. It's just like, I think some people, same thing with Mesopotamians, where people are like, oh, I've heard it so many times. It's not a 10. I'm like, it is a 10. Stop being a stubborn
That's why you've heard it that
snob.
many times.
Yeah, stop being a snob, man. I mean, Mesopotamians, it's like this, it's a lot like this song in that it's a super silly topic, but there's some buried stuff in there that are not so silly in the meanings, but it's just like perfect Linnell melodies. Stop being a snob.
Yeah.
So for Sensurround, what am I giving this thing? Oh, it's hard for the ones that are like new or new to you.
Right.
I think I got to go. God, it's so good, but it's not better than See the Constellation. What did I give See the Constellation? Hold on. To the spreadsheet. See the Constellation. Yeah, okay. All right. I think I got to go 7.8. 7.8.
Respectable. Not quite best new music, but
Right.
If we're going pitchfork rankings on this one.
Right. Once you get up to 8, like anything 8 to a perfect 10 has got to be like in my top 50 They Might Be Giant songs ever. And while the wiki ranks it at 24, I would not rank it that high. It might come in. Yeah, it might come in at like 55. But when they have 800 songs, I mean, coming in at 55 is pretty good.
Pretty respectable.
Right? Anything in the top 100. Yeah. So, thanks guys for being on. So everyone should go subscribe to Giants Confirmed and go, oh, you guys want me to, this is what I've done with crossovers before, when you do finish yours, you'll put it in your feed, but I could also put it in my feed as a bonus episode.
Ooh, yeah,
so
lovely.
People can hear it.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, and then you guys could do the same with this.
I'll let Matt
it's
figure
gonna
that
be
out because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Crossover week.
We don't have a bonus feed, but I'd be happy to put it in our regular feed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No. I put it in the regular feed. It'll just
As
say
a bonus episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bonus. Greg on Giants confirmed. Talking Factory Showroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just more cross promotion. Yeah. Super excited for people to hear our Factory Showroom episode. People go subscribe to Giants Confirmed. Why don't you guys plug your other podcasts or really plug anything you want? Go.
Yeah, Trevor, you can go first.
I'm not doing a lot of stuff right now, but I got a Gorillaz podcast, Hallelujah Monkeys. I got a Taylor Swift podcast, State of Swift. I got a My Chemical.
So wait, about gorillas, like Gorillas in the Mist?
No, the animated band helmed by
Yes.
one-time Blur frontman Damon Albarn and Tank Girl cartoonist Jimmy Hewlett.
Though I must say my favorite animated band is Metalocalypse, but
Brendan Small does good work.
Gorillas are pretty good. Yeah, that guy can fucking shred.
It's great.
Yeah. So what else? What else you got going on, Trevor?
That stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at Trevor Ickrath with all the vowels taken out. So it's TRVRKRTH.
Reviver.
Just like Reviver.
Yeah.
Yeah, Treviver. That should be the name of your band. It would be Reviver, but with a T at the front. Treviver.
I'll put it in my.
Treviver.
I'll put it in my big list of band names.
I'm good at thinking of band names. Yeah, dude. Google Outdoor Velour. We're everything on the first 2 pages.
Hell yeah.
Matt, what you got?
I'm Matt. I do a lot of podcasts, and I also run my own podcast network at noisespace.xyz. A lot of podcasts on there,
Canadians,
some of which.
why do Canadians say Z?
I don't know. Blame the British.
It's like W, X, Y, and Z.
All the American hosts on my network have to say Z when they say the website name out, or else I yell at them.
Yeah. Well, think about this. If you're singing the ABC song,
You can't do it. It just doesn't work.
It ruins a rhyme.
Yeah.
W,
I'm
X,
fine with
Y,
that.
and Z. Now I know my AB seds. I don't know. So, yeah. What's your Twitter?
My Twitter's MattGCN. My various podcasts that actually update include Henry Kissinger is Pokemon Going to Die, which is a politics podcast. Thanks to Hillary Clinton for saying Pokemon go to the polls, which is a phrase that I will mine for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's amazing.
And there's an actual Pokemon podcast called Elite Full Restore. There's Tuning Fork, which is me and my friend David talking about different Pitchfork loved and hated albums. Trevor was on episode 2 of that one, talking about The Boy with the Arab Strap, which was both loved and hated.
Yeah, I think that went from
Could
like
I
a
be-
0.8 to an 8.4 or something.
Yeah.
Could I be on an episode about Travistan by Travis Morrison of Dismemberment Plan?
Oh my god, I would love. I've been trying to find someone who wants to do Travis Stan, so I might have to. I might have to get that one going. We haven't done a hated album in a while, so
I have strong thoughts about how horrible. I actually tweeted recently. I found the guy's Twitter handle, the guy that wrote that review, and called him out like a motherfucker. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. And not only that, not so much like I don't agree with your opinions, but how much of an asshole do you have to be to give something a 0? It almost like sent him into hiding. Like it totally crushed him. Like you are such a dick.
the highest rating that anything from Dismemberment Plan that isn't Emergency and I has gotten from Pitchfork is like a 4.
Yeah,
There's
that's
like
so
there was
dumb.
another Travis Morrison album that got a 4 something. Their reunion album got like a 2.3. Like they have not been kind. They're basically like, Travis, make Emergency and I again, or I don't care.
Yeah, Pitchfork sucks. They're a good place to be like, oh, they mentioned a band, or like best new music, and then I read the blurb and it says it's a band that has guitars. Then I'll probably go check it out. But as far as reviews go, I don't trust any of them.
Their reviews are a lot better now that they're not just trying to be contrarian.
Yes.
But what I find is that the editorial is like, you'll have an album that gets a really, really, really positive and glowing review, and it won't even get best new music. Because the editorial determined that the score was going to be lower because the scores are all done by the editorial board. And then you'll have the opposite, a review that's like very, very critical of the album, and then it gets like 8.5 best new music. It's so weird when there's a discongruity there.
Back in the time of Travistan, would this reviewer have chosen that it was a 0 or the
I
whole
think the
board?
reviewers had more pull at that
Yeah,
point.
because that's like, how could, like, if you got a group of more than 3 people together, there would be at least someone in there that would be like, I'd give it at least a 3. I mean, there's no way it would get a 0 by averaging. I mean, everyone gave it a 0.
They haven't given a 0 in years.
Yeah, or how about the Black Kids album?
Yeah, 3.8 with a pug.
Yeah,
with doing a sad
and then
face.
Jet's second album, where it was the YouTube of the monkey peeing in its own mouth. That was the review.
I mean, I really don't like Jet, so I think that's fun.
But that, like, I don't think
it's not very good.
I had a really
journalism.
revelatory experience
No,
to
it's not.
that song in the back of an Uber a couple years ago, where it really kind of brightened up for me. Should revisit it.
Okay.
You know, I think that, like, it's like what your mom says. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Like, that's just fucking mean. And those were young kids that have essentially disappeared from the music scene after that.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Pitchfork. God, it's like
Yeah.
these rising stars. They're like, they self-produced this EP that's amazing. The Wizard of or the Blizzard of Wizard of Oz. I don't even remember. Wizard of Oz. And then, thanks to Pitchfork, they get a record deal. You know, they become internet darlings. They get a record deal. They put out an album. They're probably so amped on it. They're like young 20-somethings, early 20s, and then Pitchfork's like, "Whoop, sorry." That's crushing
Yeah.
to a young artist.
It's unfortunate.
That's fucking heartbreaking.
Even a band that Pitchfork likes can sometimes like just totally lose with just the way that music doesn't make enough money anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was reading something about how the Pains of Pure at Heart, which had like 2 best new music albums in a row,
Yeah.
and then 2 members of the band quit and started working for BuzzFeed because they just weren't making enough money.
Yep. God, those. I like every one of their albums, but I think we just recorded.
You're roboting for me again. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Hello. How about now?
I guess we're in wrap up now.
Yeah. I was just saying. I think.
I lost you completely.
Oh boy.
Trevor, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Let's you
Yeah.
and me close the show.
Yeah, I guess this is our show now.
Great.
You can't hear
Thanks
me
for listening
still?
to This Might Be a Podcast.
I'll kill you.
We should make it our plan to slowly accumulate all of the other They Might Be Giants podcasts until we just run like all 5 or 6 of them or however many there are.
I think there's only 3. There's
Yeah?
only 3 that I've seen.
Okay. Well, that's 2 down and 1 to go.
Yeah, we're getting there.
He's really not coming back. I just heard a bloop.
Oh, this is going to be a fun edit job for him, I'm sure.
Are you messaging him on Twitter now?
Yeah. Seeing if something gets through. Well, we're so close.
We were so close. If only it hadn't been for that Black Kids diversion.
Yep.
Oh, he just emailed us.
Oh.
Just end the episode and I'll tack on thing of me. All right. Well, this has been This Might Be a Podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm Trevor Ickrath.
We own this podcast now. Greg, you could just hand over the keys to the RSS feed. That would be cool. You are being annexed from both Canada and from LA.
Yes, this is the beginning of the Giants' confirmed superiority.
Yeah. You're being absorbed by the Borg.
We will be in touch talking about how this transition will be facilitated going forward. And we're really looking forward to having you as part of the extended Giants confirmed family.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for starting it out. Thanks for hitting the ground running for us.
Yeah, really looking forward to taking over the Patreon, having all that stuff available to us. We'll make really great use of it.
Yeah. Thanks.
And thanks to all of you for listening. We'll see you
Thanks
next
for everyone.
episode when we come back and host the show.
Bye. We're just going to talk about Sensurround again. It's fine.
Great. Every episode.
Yeah, every episode Sensurround for the rest of time until Greg puts it in his top 5.
All right, cool. That was good.
Okay.
I'm going to stop
that's pretty
recording.
good. I'm going to stop recording.
Thanks so much, guys, for being on. Sorry for Wi-Fi issues. I don't know. You ended the episode without me, and I couldn't hear it. But now I'm editing it in, and this is the end of the episode. People, please email me. This might be a pod at Gmail. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Teddygrams. We got a website, thismightbeapodcast.com, a Bandcamp, thismightbeapodcast.bandcamp.com. There's songs up there from the They'll Need a Crane live episode, musical portion. Voicemails 224-801-2930. Call and leave me voicemails. I love it. Please rank us, give us stars or whatever on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can do that. It helps people find the show. It convinces people to listen to the show. Get me back up from a 4.5, please. Some douchebag just left a bad review that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Do it. Okay, bye. Thanks, Giants. Confirmed to go listen to them. Here we go. Goodbye.
If I could swim under the water without having to breathe, if I could follow the trail to the ocean floor, I think I'd know what there'd be down there waiting for me. Sensurround down at the bottom, sensible to ear and sternum, made the fakeness realistic when the action went ballistic. 1 degree shy of sadistic, and the world first spoke to me in Sensurround.
One,
episode
two,
censored
nine,
for the rest of
three,
the time,
zero.
until Greg
Call and
puts it in
leave
his
me
top five.
voicemails. I love it. Please
that's pretty
rank
good.
us give us stars or whatever on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can do that. It helps people find the show. It convinces people to listen to the show. Get me back up from a 4.5, please. Some douchebag just left a bad review that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Do it. Okay, bye. Thanks, Giants. Confirmed to go listen to them. Here we go. Goodbye.